am here to empower women, highly melanated women, by creating awareness of personal care products and safer alternatives. Let's begin by sharing with you the Environmental Working Group. It's called EWG, and you can find them at ewg.org. I'll include that information in the description, where I have done research and what I've found as a result. There is much work to be done, especially on behalf of the population of highly melanated women in particular, as it pertains to these beauty care or personal care products. And that would, of course, be from head to toe. EWG's mission statement, and it reads, "Our mission is simple: to empower you with breakthrough research to make informed choices and live a healthy life in a healthy environment." Further, EWG, according to their website, has been around since 1993. They are here to shine a spotlight on outdated legislation, harmful agricultural practices, and industry loopholes that pose a risk to our health and the health of our environment. Now, I also want to share with you some statistics that I found on their website, which I find are very profound. And we're going to begin by dating back to 2016 in comparison to 2025. So 9 years ago, these were the statistics. And today we have, of course, a different statistic, and some of them are very interesting. So we are going to go from low hazard to high hazard, categorically speaking. Bar soaps, body oils, body washes and cleansers, conditioners, eyeshadow, facial moisturizers and treatments, facial powder, hairstyling aids, hair treatment serums, moisturizers, shampoos, and of course styling gels and lotion. You'll find this information at ewg.org. According to the range in 2016 for bar soap, we were low hazard to moderate hazard. 2025, of course, the low hazard increased marginally, but we're still at a moderate hazard. Body oil, 2016, range, low hazard to moderate hazard. And in 2025, from low hazard, green, to high hazard, red. And you can take a look at this graph at the website to gain further clarity. I just want to do a quick synopsis. Body wash and conditioners, 2016, range from low hazard to moderate hazard. 2025, again, low hazard with a marginal decrease on the low hazard side and an increase on the moderate hazard side. The conditioners in 2016 range from low hazard to high hazard. In 2025, the range is from low hazard to high hazard with a very large scale of moderate hazard in terms of the ingredients and their potential harm to our bodies. Eyeshadows in 2016 ranged from low hazard to moderate hazard. In 2025, for eyeshadows, the range is for moderate hazard to high hazard. So if you notice, in 2016, we did have some low hazard ingredients on the scale. However, 9 years later, 2025, that low hazard ingredient list has totally disappeared. And now for eyeshadows, we are working with moderate to high hazard ingredients. Facial moisturizers and treatments. 2016, we have low hazard to high hazard. 2025, we see an increase in low hazard for the facial moisturizers and treatments, and we have a slight increase for high hazard ingredients. Facial powders. For facial powders in 2016, we range from low hazard to moderate hazard. And in 2025, we range low hazard to moderate hazard. Once again, now interestingly, on the facial powders in 2025, we see a significant increase in the low hazard ingredients for this product, and that is awesome. Hairstyling aids 2016, the range is from low hazard to high hazard. 2025, once again, not much of a change with regards to the low hazard, just a slight change. And then, of course, we are ranging in the high hazard as well. Hair treatment and serums in 2016, we range from low hazard to high hazard. And in 2025, again, we are ranging from low hazard to high hazard. What's interesting about the hair treatments and serums is that in 2016, we had a significant amount of ingredients that were considered low hazard, and not as much when it comes to the high hazard. However, in 2025, the low hazard ingredients have minimized or decreased, and we see a significant increase in the moderate risk range. This one is very interesting because in 2016, it appears that there was a very small gap in terms of moderation between the low hazard and the high hazard. In 2025, that gap has expanded. So we are in the moderate risk range when it comes to hair treatment and serum according to these statistics for 2025. For moisturizers, 2016, we go from low hazard to moderate hazard. However, in 2025, we go from low hazard all the way up to high hazard. So you want to give attention to these things. Moisturizers in 2016 did not contain high hazard ingredients. However, in 2025, we have ingredients that are considered high hazard in these moisturizers. 2016 for shampoo, we are going from low hazard to high hazard. Once again, in 2025, the low hazard has decreased. The range between low hazard and high hazard, which is moderate, has increased significantly. And we have less in terms of the high hazard. So for the shampoos, mainly they are considered moderate risk overall. Let's continue. Styling gels, lotions. In 2016, we were at low hazard to high hazard. In 2025, once again, low hazard to high hazard. What's interesting about this is the low hazard ingredients have decreased. The moderate hazard ingredient list has increased, and we are still having to look at these high hazard ingredients for our styling gels and lotions. And I want to also share with you something else that's very interesting according to the Environmental Working Group. EWG says we've also compared the mean and median product category scores and score ranges, lowest scoring products to highest scoring product in each category, for products marketed to Black women, whom I refer to as highly melanated or richly melanated women, and products without demographic marketing. So if you can understand what is being said here, these products have been created for a specific target marketing group. While most product categories showed similar mean and median scores, regardless of demographic marketing, certain makeup and hair care products marketed to Black, or what I consider highly melanated women, had higher average hazard scores. Now the question becomes, why? You will find more information on their Skin Deep database. There you will be able to connect and perhaps get your questions answered as it pertains to the scientific evidence of some products that you may be using today. So the Environmental Working Group says, we work for you and we're not going anywhere. That's comforting. Someone is working for us. Picture putting sunscreen on your skin, knowing it has toxic chemicals in it. Now, this is a sunscreen that I just happen to have in my personal care product line. I have since discontinued using this particular sunscreen for personal reasons, and that is something that we can talk about later in another video, but I will remember to share that with you. Envision biting into a carrot, knowing it's tainted with pesticides. Now imagine drinking a cup of water, knowing it's contaminated by pollutants from local farms and factories. This is the world we live in, and we deserve better. Ladies, the truth of the matter is this: our bodies was created by the one and only true God, the God of the universe. Our bodies must be well nourished. They must be taken care of in order for us to live a productive life. Now, what we put on our bodies will ultimately get in our bodies. And that is where the problem begins. We don't know what's in these ingredients. We don't know what these ingredients that we find in our beauty care, personal care products are. However, we know enough to know that they're simply a chemical soup, especially when it comes to fragrances. You see, there's something called a trade secret. And the trade secret says, I'm paraphrasing, we don't have to tell you what these chemicals are. You just have to know that they are chemicals. And knowing that they are chemicals, we have to also know that chances are they will have an adverse effect on our bodies. So while we're walking around attempting to do everything in our power to smell good, to look good, to live well, we may be causing ourselves more harm than good. Everything comes with a price. Now, the question becomes, how serious are you about taking care of your body so that you are well? How serious are you about what you choose to put on your skin How serious are you about your health, about life and living? The choice is yours. I am here to help you make an informed decision about your choice of skin care products, hair care products, nail care products, feminine care products, and the list goes on and on and on. Because there are so many products available, we mainly use the advertising tactics to make a decision about what we purchase and use on our bodies. However, we may want to take a closer look at that ingredient list, what those ingredients are, who they are marketed to, and the impact that they may have on our health. The choice is yours. How you move in this life is your business. How I move in this life is my business. I am here to help you so that all is well with you, so that you can live that life that God has already made available to you. Because the bottom line is this: our bodies are the temple of the living God. It is where He chose to take up residence. And we want our bodies well because this is where He chose to live. Will you make better choices? Will you continue to do your research, which I encourage you to do? We can begin with EWG, the Environmental Working Group. Do your own research and determine your next move. I am certain that once you have empowered yourself with the information that you need to make a quality choice, you will put yourself in a much better position moving forward. Remember, you are your best advocate. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notifications button, and you will receive notification of my next video.